Last night, I was kind of putzing around the house doing a bunch of things, and it was kind of a little bit odd because Amy actually sat down and watched a movie. Amy never sits down to watch a movie. She sees bits and pieces, but last night one of her favorite movies was on. And so she sat there for 3-4 hours, commercial-free, and watched Schindler's List. I have a hard time watching that. Because the whole point of the Holocaust was 6 million Jewish members of faith. A whole culture being wiped out. Just doesn't sit well with me. And to watch this and to see these people, even though through a movie, knowing it's a reality, knowing that it was a reality, hurts. Not just, I feel bad, but my soul aches to see the evil, to see the punishment, to see the torture that these people went through. So for me to sit and watch Schindler's List or any movie around the Holocaust makes it very difficult for me. So I usually listen while I do what she does, where I'll sit and watch a movie and she'll clean the kitchen and do this and that. And last night it was my turn, so I kind of listened as I was doing things. But I can't help but think about, as this keeps stirring through my brain, the darkness that all the people felt, that the Jews felt as they were going through this. And it wasn't just the Jews, there were others as well that endured all of this. But to target a group of people and to have a specific portion of the culture live through this pain. I can't help but hearing them cry out, where is God in all of this? Where is the justice? Where's the love? In our own lives, we go through periods of darkness. I pray nobody has to go through what they did. But we know that it happens. We know that it's continued to happen. Darfur, Rwanda, just on and on throughout the world, evil tends to break out, and groups of people get wiped out. But in our lives, I pray that none of us ever have to endure something as dark and evil as that. But we do go through our own periods of darkness. They couldn't just be times of frustration. Things we hit a bad spell. We get unemployed. We get sick. We get unemployed and sick. We lose loved ones. We go through periods of darkness, and we end up asking ourselves as we fall deeper and deeper into this, where is God through all of this? Abraham, in our story this morning from Genesis, was going through a funk. He's been faithful to God. He's now 90 years old. And God's saying, God's kind of being a cheerleader and rooting him on. Be faithful, be strong. I'm here for you. And he challenges God. Did you hear him challenge God in there? He says, "But what have you done for me? I'm 90. I have no kids. I'm at the end. My lineage is going to die out with me." But the first thing you hear in there is you hear a sense of faith. He doesn't say there is no God, but he simply says, "God, where have you been? I know you're there. But where have you been as I've been going through this? Why have you not blessed me during this time?" So he starts off with an element of faith. As that faith grows, God takes him for a little walk. He takes him outside of the tent and says, "I want you to look up in the skies. Count the stars, if you can. If you can count them, I want you to look up there, because that's my promise to you, is that your descendants will be as plentiful as the stars in the heaven." He gives Abraham, that he's not been left. He still hasn't figured out how at 90 years old he and his wife are going to have a kid. But God says something's going to happen. And so there's the hope. And then comes the blessings. Through all of this, he's still kind of questioning what's going on. He's got the faith, he's got the hope. But then comes the true love, the blessings of God. Where he and Sarah give birth to a son, and it only takes one to start that multitude. So all we need is a little faith. We've got to trust that God will pull us through. Pastor Chris, that's really nice. But when I'm down here, I need a little bit more than you to stand up there and be a cheerleader. I know God is there. I know God is faithful. I know God loves me. But in our words like Abraham, "But what have you done for me lately?" And that's a tough question. When we're struggling in our lives, it's hard to find where is the love of God. I was sitting at Wegmans Wednesday evening, and Nick was at a 4-H center, about a mile away. I'm sitting there having a cup of coffee, and I was thinking about the sermon, thinking about this, and I said, "Okay, God, you put it in my heart to tell people to trust that you are there. But the reality is that we're a visual people. We need proof. We need evidence that you're there. How do I make that clear?" And so I was sitting there. The Wegmans that I go to has a balcony, so I'm sitting up over the produce section. And I'm just watching people. I like to watch people. And I see a dad with a 3 or 4-year-old son. Get some tomatoes. They go over to the scale, set it down. The dad says, "Okay, push these numbers." The son pushes them. The label prints out. The son takes the label off, puts it on the bag of tomatoes, puts it in the cart. It's pretty cool. I see a lady walking out with her daughter. And as they're walking out, mom's pushing the cart. Daughter's a little bit older, 12, 13. She just kind of reaches her arm around her daughter, gives her a quick hug, and says thanks. And they continue out. An employee. Remember, she was coming off a break, she was tying her apron back around her. But she comes up to another employee that's still in the produce section. It says something to the guy. He's got 2 carts there, one's empty. He says something back. She grabs the one cart and walks off. Where's God? How do we see that God is still around? Well, God tells us to teach our kids. Proverbs. The whole book of Proverbs is based on Solomon. Teaching how to live to the kids, to his son. A mother just giving words of encouragement and care, love to her daughter. Employees being good to each other. Okay, great, how does that get me out of my funk? Well, you know what it does too? Is it shows that God is still around. There's that hope we need. It's no longer where is God, but where is the love of God. And so when we get into that deep and darkness in our lives, it's important for us to get out of the house. Unlock the bedroom door and step out into the world and have a conversation with God and say, I know you are here. Show me. I need to know that you are still here with me. I need to know that your love is still here. See, we enter into these darknesses in our lives, and we all do that. It is that hope that carried the Jews through what they endured. And to be able to see, as the movie came to a close last night, as I kind of bring this full circle, to see the members of Oskar Schindler's factory walk up to him and thank him for the 1,100 employees, for all general purposes, slave labor, because he did not pay them. But he saved their lives. And so as he's sharing with them that at midnight you are free to go, I will stay with you for 5 minutes because I'm a war criminal. I have to flee. And to see him cleared of charges at the end. To see the love that the people have for him because through him, they could see that God still loved them and could lift them up through all that they were going through. Could lift them up out of their darkness. And so it's important for us in our darkness to look for, where is that light? If we are hiding within ourselves, it is hard to seek it out. Then we have to rely on faith. But if you have that conversation with God, if you allow Christ to illuminate